Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of The Forward. My name is Marvel Bishop. I would like to introduce these lovely ladies. We are going to be talking about a very serious topic, sexual assault awareness. So, ladies first. Okay, who wants to start? And please.
Okay, so my name is Yesenia Urena. I am the co-founder of End Rape Culture, a local nonprofit here in South Florida.
And I am Ashley Relates. You guys know me, founder of The Urban Play and creator of The Forward podcast.
So I want to have like a different approach to this topic, and I wanted to pretty much get and really, know your guys' story on, because we have pretty much, ladies here who had experienced, sexual assault and or rape, basically, and I really want you guys to share your story. So who wants to start first?
Okay. I'll take you guys back. I was 17 years old. Right before I graduated from high school, we were drinking Heineken, and I lied to my mom and told her I was sleeping over my friend's house. I'd never been allowed to sleep over my friend's house, but I was actually staying with my boyfriend and my friend and her boyfriend. And he took me to his room, and we were just sitting there making out like normal high school kids, right? And then something changed. I don't know. He started looking at me in a different way and kind of, I don't know, it was almost like animalistic. And he pushed up my skirt, and he started trying to insert himself into me. And I remember telling him, like, please don't. Like, I really wanted to wait until I was married. That was my thing. And I'm like shaking and crying.
'Cause you were a virgin. Yeah.
I was a virgin.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a virgin. And he literally just inserted himself into me, and I can still remember. I remember crying, I remember the blood, everything. And he just, did what he had to do until he finished, and he got up and he was like, "You're so immature. Like, I can't believe I'm dating a young girl like you." And he walked outside. He walked outside, and I remember following him crying, and I was like, "I'm sorry." And he was like, "This is what girlfriends and boyfriends do. Like, I knew I shouldn't have been with a girl like you." And I was just like, "I'm sorry. Like, I'll do better next time." And that's how I lost my virginity. And he kind of set me up for a lifetime of unhealthy relationships. And obviously set me up to experience sexual assault multiple times after that, because I couldn't understand basic concepts like consent and boundaries.
So this is my first time talking about my experience. I was 19 when I lost my virginity, almost like a week before I turned 20. Popular guy in school. Everybody liked him. And growing up, I didn't have, boyfriends and everything. So having this hot guy, come up to me, talk to me and everything, I felt like on top of the world. I felt like, I was that bitch. So we were messing around for a while. He was the first guy to see me naked, all that stuff. Messing around, but no real sex, penetration for like a year or so. And I would always be like, why isn't he my boyfriend? Like, why aren't we together? And he said, Ashley, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. They have sex. So I understand your point. I feel like ever since he said that, I was just kind of more, what's the word? Complicit in doing those actions with him, because I felt like, this is an adult relationship or situation. I have to do these type of things. And I, like you, I wanted to wait until I was married too. But lost my virginity a week before my 20th birthday. My 20th birthday came. He was at a party that I was at. I got drunk off Ciroc. He got me drunk. We were drinking. Everyone's drinking. And I went with my friend, and he told me, "Oh, I'll take you back home." I said, "Okay, fine." My friend was like, "Don't go with him. No one liked him." So I went with him, and I just remember being in his car and driving on the way back, and we had like an argument about some girl talking to him like his ex or something, and I was mad and all this stuff. And then he started groping me like here and all over, and I'm just like, "Can you stop?" And then I'm not in the mood. He was like, "Oh, Ashley, come on, it's your birthday, come on." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do this." And we got to my house, and right outside my house, I was like, "Oh, can I just sleep over by you? I don't want to sleep in my house alone." He's like, "Oh no, Ashley, I'm just gonna want to have sex with you, and you don't want to do that right now." I'm like, "Well, I can't, because it's almost my time of the month. I don't want to do that. I'm new to sex and everything, so I felt, it was weird. It was only my first time having sex before in a week ago. And I just remember him saying, oh, well, if you want to have sex and, I can't really go down on you, you could do that to me. And I said, no, I don't really want to. So I tried to get out the car, and he's like, Ashley, come on, you know you want to, and like grabbed me. And I just remember the car door locking. Like I just remember it, and it didn't even sound like a lock. It sounded like a shut door, like just slammed. And I was like, no, come on. He's like, Ashley, drink some more. It's okay. Like you do this all the time. It's fine. I'm just like, but I don't want to do it right now. But I'm just like, I'm older now. Ashley, you had sex with him. You could do whatever. And he grabbed me again and again. I'm like, no, I don't really want to. He's like, come on, Ashley. And I just remember seeing him pull his pants down. Sorry. And forced my head down, like all the way down. And I remember laughing because I'm just like, what is going on? I was drunk and everything. And I just remember my jaw hurting so bad and my neck hurting so bad. And he was just laughing the whole time. Like he thought it was funny. He thought it was, I don't know, like something that we do. And he was always weird with sex and everything too. So I thought this was normal. I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm having sex. We're having sex. We could do it, whatever. But the whole time I just knew something wasn't right. I kind of froze up at the point. And I just remember him like literally grabbing my head and my hair and like pulling it back up. Just like, oh, well, I'm done. You could go now. So I was so drunk. I was like, can I have your bottle at least? So I got his bottle. I got in the car. I got out the car, went home, went to sleep, drank some of the bottle. In the morning, I even told him, oh, I'm happy that you took me home, blah, 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 blah. A week later, I saw that he got with his girlfriend or his ex or whatever. And that hurt me to my core. I didn't talk to him for like a year. He never talked to me. And it was the worst introduction to sex ever, I think. Just like you, I've had unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships, not even just sex-wise, but how people talk to me, how they treat me and everything. I think people need to understand that sexual assault and rape, it's not just that moment and that's it. There's so many triggers that happen afterwards, so many lifelong effects that you have to battle every day just because of that one incident. And yeah, that's my story.
I think sorry, my bad. I think there is so many things that can happen that can trigger, and that can pretty much have like a breadcrumb trail basically like afterwards when it comes to this. But I think the main core that we need to pretty much focus on now is consent. That's pretty much where it starts it off, right? Is basically what is consent? And where's the fine line? Where's the, like, let's have some education on that, Yesenia.
Well, like I said, consent is basically when two people agree to engage in an activity. It's really that simple. It should be, like we said, it should be freely given. Just because you are dating someone does not give you a right to their body.
Yep.
So that's something that people need to understand. In both of our cases, we're with someone who was our boyfriend, right? Who we trusted, who we loved, who we wanted to be happy with and please. So that's one thing. It has to be for each activity. So someone may agree to oral sex and maybe not be open to having, actual intercourse.
Yeah.
So I think consent is really just making sure that both people are on board. And there are different ways to ask for consent. You could say, hey, what do you want me to do to you? Babe, whatever. Do you like this? Do you like that? It's really that simple.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like it's dirty talking. Like, I would like that. I think that's sexy. So I think that we need to like normalize asking for consent.
And also too, you cannot give consent when you're drunk or under the influence, because a lot of times, oh, well, you don't even know what happened. Like a lot of times, like when I actually, maybe it was like a year afterwards, I didn't even realize that I really was sexually assaulted. Like I said, to this day, I still battle. I'm like, oh my God, did I really but if someone's drunk, they cannot, they're not in their right mind. They know what they're doing, but their inhibitions are gone. They could do things that they would never do sober.
Right.
So using that, and I feel like a lot of times too, guys use that, not guys, but people use that, because women use that too, to loosen people up with alcohol, so they'd be more inclined to do stuff, and that is dangerous as well. So
let's talk about stigmas. Ashley, I know this is something that's something that you're really big on.
Let's talk about slut shaming and body shaming. I'll start with body shaming.
Okay.
because it happens to me all the time. I'm a thick girl, big boobs, relatively big butt. So a lot of times people will, you know, come up to me and just automatically think I'm a freak, or I like to, you know, I'm a nympho. I like to have sex all the time and all that stuff. They will never see me as a person. It's more so like, what can they get off my body? So a lot of times people are like, oh, well, Ashley, that girl has a big ass, so she probably likes it, you know, from the back or everything. Why do we dehumanize women so much in that like way? I don't understand why. It's just like, I can't help how I look. Even if I want to dress a certain way, certain things won't fit me the way it will fit someone with no boobs or no butt or anything. So body shaming is one. Slut shaming with outfits and stuff. If you wear something more provocative, people will be like, oh, well, you're asking for this type of attention. You're asking to have sex. You know, you want sex because you're looking this kind of way. How can what I wear tell you what I want to do with you or with anyone? Like, does that make sense to anyone?
Absolutely.
I mean, in the same way, like people, when I talked about, like earlier, when I talked about respectability politics with like racism and black males, you know, respectable Negro talks properly. They wear a suit. They don't wear baggy pants. They, you know, they're professional.
Right.
And that warrants them to be treated a certain way, which is not, you know, the fact we're all humans. You have to treat a human like a human, not just because of what you think a human should be. So, yeah.
I think there are parallels, like you said, between racism and sexism, right? When we talk about rape culture. When we call women sluts, when we call them whores, when we call them, you know, these negative words, bitches, right? What you're doing is you're dehumanizing them with that terminology. But there's actually this documentary. It's called The Unslut Project, right?
Okay.
And it's about this little girl. She was like 12 years old. She had a boyfriend, and he, you know, kind of like got her to let him touch her in certain places. What happened was everyone in the school started referring to her as a school slut. Then she was a community slut, right? And they were like, oh, she's having sex with everyone, which was not the case. So what happened? People started grabbing her in different ways. They started speaking to her in different ways, in disrespectful ways, right? And they all justified it because she was a quote-unquote slut. Right, and Ashley was speaking about, you know, we were talking about like men, you know, racism. So Trayvon Martin, right, he's wearing a black hoodie. They found weed in his system, you said, right? Things like that. So it's like now here are the parallels, right? We see this boy, he's not the respectable type of person, right? So it's okay that they shot and killed him.
Yeah.
Because he's not really human. Again, now we see women, oh my God, she was dressed like a total slut. Oh, but she had sex with 8 other people, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Sexual assault is never okay. There's no reason there's no way to justify it. So we need to end slut shaming. And I think that people need to kind of examine their own internalized beliefs. Like, yes, we've all grown up thinking like a woman should dress a certain way, but hey, you know, we need to move away from that.
So, yeah, definitely a great point. So as far as stigmas are concerned, right, one of the stigmas that I guess I can think of because I'm a man is that, you know, since I'm a man, I am a sexual beast. I am a person who just wants sex all the time, and it's just pretty much not the case. In Twitter and plus all this, you know, other social platforms, you know, we have all these jokes like, you know, oh, if a woman wants to have sex with a man, then guess what? It's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's nothing, you know. So why do we have those stigmas, or I guess those double standards, when overall sexual assault and rape can happen to anybody? It can happen to men and women. So like, why do we have that?
I would blame toxic masculinity, like Yesenia said earlier. And like I said, I mean, Yesenia doesn't know this, but we talked about this like in the other episodes. Toxic masculinity does not just affect women, it affects men as well. So, you know, the notion that you guys are conquerors, like I said earlier, you have to chase people, you have to be strong, all these, you know, macho man kind of thing. It hurts you guys because you guys aren't allowed to, I guess, show your emotions sometimes, or not want to have sex with everyone that you know, or, you know, certain things. And I feel like that is kind of a nurture versus nature thing, an environmental, you know, I guess when you're raised by, well, not even when you're raised, but like your friends.
Friends and peers, basically peer pressure.
Yeah. Peer pressure is huge.
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Huge. Because I know a lot of guys are like, oh, well, Ash, I don't really want to have sex with this girl, but, you know, my friends are doing it, and, you know, she's bad, so I have to do it. So I think it's really hard for you guys. I really do, what's the word? Sympathize for you guys, because I know everyone's not a rapist. I know everyone's not a bad guy, and you guys really do get a bad rap sometimes. So I feel like one thing I will say with men that are good men, when women say, oh, men are trash, all this stuff, whatever, if it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. I'll say that. It doesn't. If it's not to you, and you're not you're not a bad person, then it shouldn't offend you. Because I'm sure men in your circle or in someone else's circle that are bad and do the same things. Because, like you said, every woman knows a woman that's been sexually assaulted or raped, but no man knows a man that has raped someone.
Why is that? Or is it the fact that they do know, but they try to keep it under wraps?
I think it's both.
You tell me.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Do you know a rapist, Marvel?
I do know. Well, obviously. Well, I would say this: every person that I've found out that is a rapist or does such lewd and crazy freaking acts is no longer a part of my circle. / they're no longer my friends. So that's one aspect. So maybe we do know people, but we just don't know them pretty much anymore because the moral and man code that I have does not align to that trash that he is. But at the same time, I feel like there are other cases where people do give excuses for such crazy actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he was just being a guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
boys
you know.
Boys. You guys put yourself, and society as a whole puts you guys like the lowest bar.
Right.
Like, you guys should be ashamed of that, honestly, because this whole men will be men, boys will be boys. Like, you guys are like seen as animals in a way too, like uncontrollable animals with no self-control, which is not cool. Like, an example that I had, like even like with older women too, they're just like, when I talk to them about like, men approaching me like, Ashley, well, they used to do that a long time. It's okay. I'm like, no. The whole like, oh, smile beautiful. Not saying that's sexual assault or anything.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now you want to...
I wanted to say something else about internalized misogyny.
Okay.
I feel like it's in a world where misogyny is so prevalent in America, for example, it's like women have internalized it as well. So you see tweets like, oh, well, if I go to your place and we're watching Netflix and you don't make a move, like you're lame or you're a pussy or whatever negative term it is. Like, it's again akin to racism. Like, I have heard black people say, I don't want to live in a neighborhood with other black people because it lowers the property value. How can you be racist when you are, you know what I mean, like against your own people? I see Hispanics who do it too, but again, when it comes to rape culture and like sexism, like women who are saying things like that, they don't understand that they're perpetuating rape culture. They don't understand that they could put themselves in a situation where they feel uncomfortable because they have this mindset and they're pushing this ideology.
So, speaking on perpetuating rape culture, let's talk about the fine line between, I guess, quote unquote, air quotes, I guess, hollering at a woman versus being...
First of all, don't holler at me.
Well, no.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I said air quotes. I said.
Okay, no one likes that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me start again. So
and I feel like it's almost like a feeling of being in control for men.
So okay, let's talk about the fine line between approaching a woman versus what is sexual assault, basically, or what is harassment.
Okay,
is there a fine line?
First things first. Okay, first things first. I can't stand when men are like, oh, I hate the Me Too movement. Oh my God, this is like the worst thing ever. Like, it's like if someone made a movement about eating tires and they're like, oh, we're going to go against everyone who's eating tires. Would you be offended? No. Okay, so you need to examine what you're doing. And like, that's
that also goes back to if you are offended by that movement, then that means you are the problem.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think so. Yep. And I'm sorry, what was your question? Because I wanted to say more.
I wanted to, I was actually talking about the fine line between approaching a woman and harassment.
Okay,
what
and
is
another thing. Okay. Like, men, you are not going to be randomly accused of sexual assault. It's very rare. You are more likely to be raped than you are to be accused of being raped, and there are statistics on that. Okay,
Are you talking about being raped as far as men being raped?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Than being accused of being raped. So I mean, I feel like just be a normal person. Respect people's personal boundaries. Like, if you were to go up to a man who you wanted to meet for whatever reason, networking purposes, you're not gonna grab the back, you know, his lower back. You're not gonna get all in his face and try to like touch him. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when you want to meet a woman. Like, just be a decent person. It's really
Approach,
not
don't
that
grope.
difficult. Exactly.
Approach, don't grow.
Approach, don't grow.
Well, also too,
Speak to them.
Like a human being.
Exactly.
what can also do happen is what also does happen as far as like the whole environment is like, okay, since I'm in this environment, then my action pretty much is permitted for this. So I'm for like lounges, clubs, and all that. So I want to talk this. I wanted to ask you ladies this: how much of a factor is music and entertainment towards rape culture? You want to get into that? I don't know.
What I will say is so I have this workshop. It's a toxic masculinity workshop. We work with kids, teenagers, and we actually go over songs, like song lyrics, popular song lyrics, and we analyze them for you know negative ideas that perpetuate rape culture, right? And you would be surprised how much of that is in today's music. Just like calling women, you know, bitches, hoes, you know, just negative things. Talking about like, I put a pill in her drink, she ain't even know it, like things like that. Like,
Well, Rick Ross did get killed for that.
but never,
over and
never
over.
But not even that
nevertheless.
killed.
Well, yes, true. It was like killed and then move on.
But
like,
it's so prevalent, so normalized, we don't even notice it. You'll be singing song lyrics, and I'm like, do you understand what you just said?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's being fed like everywhere, and the music, industry is like a huge proponent of that.
Yeah.
Ashley.
And even like you said with like movies and stuff and rom-coms and everything, like, you know, chasing and really like being persistent with that person, you know, showing up to their office with flowers like a creep, like stuff like that is, I don't know, it's normal to people. Like, I know sometimes, like, I had this friend, he cheated on his girlfriend and he wanted to get her back. And he's just like, no, I'm going to show up to her job and, you know, be outside with flowers, beg her for her forgiveness. Like, that's not cool. That's intimidation, one, too. Like, you in her actual workplace with all these people around her, her reputation is in jeopardy. Everything's in jeopardy. Her job is in jeopardy just for you, like, for some selfish reason for her to take you back. Like, we have to look at those things, too, not just sexual assault, all that stuff, but, like, intimidation, harassment is huge.
Yes.
And I'll say this. I don't know one woman, even if they know it or not, that has not been sexually harassed.
Exactly.
Like, and I'm not saying groped or anything, but even just how you talk to that person is harassment. And
Because there's many forms of
yeah,
sexual
of course.
harassment,
Of course.
basically.
It's not just grabbing someone, trying
Is
to...
catcalling sexual harassment?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
People feel uncomfortable when you do that. You need to understand that. Like, it's like, if I have a big, huge, like, I'm not strong. I can't defend myself. Some big, huge man's like, hey, sexy, hey, what's up? And it's like, I don't want to be rude to you. I would like to be nice, but then it's like, I'm nice to you. Then you're pushing it. You want to push it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, don't do it.
Do you ladies feel
Don't
that
do it.
it's damned if you do, damned if you don't?
Yes. Yes.
I'll
It's
agree.
like, so for instance, in that instance, if you are catcalling,
Yes.
basically, if you are being catcalled, it's like, okay, if I am nice, then maybe that person pretty much will take advantage.
Right,
Or
yep.
if I'm being a quote unquote bitch,
Yeah.
then I'm a bitch and
No,
I'll be
definitely.
called
I mean,
names and
people are killed.
Yeah,
People literally say
literally.
no to a guy on the street, and then you hear
That
the
is
news all the
nuts.
time.
Yeah.
People get killed. So for me, like, for me personally, as long as you don't approach me in a disrespectful way, I'll probably say hi. Doesn't mean I will sleep with you.
Yeah.
Does not mean I'll give you a date, anything, my number. But some people can't take that. They think it's like, oh, well, she wants it then if she said hi, or she wants to talk to me further and get to know me. And I just said hi. I'm just being a normal person. Because, I mean, you guys be like, oh, hey, what's up, bro?
Exactly.
And that's it. Just like what I was talking about with the whole, oh, smile, beautiful thing.
Right.
You guys say it's harmless. You guys say it's just, you know, out of, you know, genuine concern to see you happy. You're not going to go up to if you're a heterosexual man, you're not walking past the street. Be like, hey, bro, smile, bro. You look sad. That makes sense? It doesn't. Like, it really does not. It's literally, it's selfish to me. I'm sorry.
It
like,
is.
why the whole with agency over our bodies thing, why
Right.
even with our smile, like, if I have a resting bitch face, I have a resting bitch face.
Yes.
I'm not going to change for you. That is it. That is all.
And it's like, you know, sexual harassment in the workplace. Like, I had people come up and like massage me behind, and like what people don't know is that's a trigger for me. Like, when I was sexually assaulted, I was being massaged first. So now literally I cannot get a massage. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. It really like scares me and brings me back to that place where I was.
Yeah.
So it's like, just don't do it. I mean, sexual harassment can take many forms, and you don't know what how you're affecting that person.
If
So
you're,
just
I
don't.
think you know if you're being a creep. I'm sorry. Like if you're an adult,
Yeah,
You'd
true.
be surprised.
I don't know. It bothers me that some people have to ask like, oh, you know, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I like?
Well, that
I
goes,
mean-
but that is actually a little bit of contradiction of what you just said in the beginning, though.
Okay, and how so?
Because like, oh, if I should do this or I should do that, like, why? Like, don't we have to do that though? Basically, to,
Do what?
to
No, I'm not talking about within the act of sex. I'm talking about like approaching someone.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
What I will say is,
sorry about that.
so I was an advisor at Palm Beach State College, and I would have meetings with like the deans and things like that, and they would come in and shake everyone's hand and hug me. Oh, sweetheart, how are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm an equal. We're all advisors here. Why are you hugging me? Why? You see what I'm saying? They'll touch my hair. Why? Like, that's sexual harassment. I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much, but it does on another level, because it's like, hey, like, I feel like I'm not being recognized as a professional. Like, I have higher degrees than some of the people in this room.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean you. I mean in that boardroom.
Well, me, yeah.
In that situation. So it's just,
I dropped out. Like,
yeah, it's just
But
uncomfortable.
yeah, I completely agree because at my workplace, people won't really, I guess, what's the word, like hug me like that if they're a guy, but they'll definitely be like, oh, hey, pretty Ashley, or hey, whatever.
Yes.
You'll be like, hey, handsome Marvel. Like, come on. Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, and
but I'm not
it's
attracted to men though.
But either way.
Yeah, either way.
Okay,
like,
talk
the
about it.
whole
I did
human
that for a reason.
being-
I
the
did that for a
human-
reason.
the human being thing.
Okay.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm a human being in the club. I'm a human being here. I'm a human being at school. I'm a human being at church.
Got
Feel
it.
me? So,
It's
So
so sad that we have to
Yeah.
say it like
so
that. but-
no, because
what it
there's
is.
people out there that have no idea, like
Yeah,
they're
of
just
course.
completely oblivious.
no, of
Right.
course,
And
like, I know people like, I don't want to say in the hood, but like people will literally be in their car. Oh, hey, shawty, whatever. I literally stopped them. I'm just like, does this work for you? Like, I literally asked them, does this work? Has this ever worked for you ever? They're like, I don't know, man. I'm just like, well, stop.
So what about so maybe, and I kind of want to get into this. Obviously, we do have to check, the guys and the men pretty much for doing that. But what about the women taking accountability and be like, hey, listen, don't friggin' do this, like.
But that's
So let's talk
the
about. So
thing.
let's.
That's
so,
blaming us again.
Oh, okay,
and putting
I-
too much
so
responsibility
now,
on us.
Now, okay, this is where I'm going with. Now let's
Okay.
talk about victim blaming.
Okay.
Okay. You have a lady, a pretty lady that's wearing a nice outfit, basically, goes to a club. She gets sexually harassed. She either that happens or pretty much she gets raped or whatever. God forbid, right? It happens twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, however, right? The common denominator
Is the rapist.
Okay. Why?
Because rape is rape.
Okay.
Just like,
So so what I'm asking is that is there any a instance of accountability for the victim? Is there any accountability whatsoever? Yes or no?
Again, we have to change the mindset. That's all I will say, because and that's a very good question. Because think about it. You as a normal person, you see a woman who's dressed, really provocatively. Is your first instinct like, I have to rape her? And if it is, you're probably like a serial killer.
No.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying is, I'm not talking about the actual initial time. It's like, for instance, it's
Okay.
like, and let me know if this is the right term or the right analogy or not. I'm here, right? A guy's right in front of me, and he punches me in the face.
Okay.
And he keeps on punching me in the face over and over and over and over, and I don't move. Whose fault is it for me getting punched in the face? Is it the guy who's punching me, or is it me for not moving?
And there's a lot of different psychological
That's a
factors
weird
that you have to take
analogy.
into.
But no,
That is
but-
a horrible analogy.
It's
But I
it's
understand.
horrible?
I understand what you mean. I'm sorry. I understand what you mean. What I will say is, okay, so there's we have fight or flight reflex, right?
okay.
So when you are experiencing sexual assault, some people they fight. They're prone to fighting. They'll scratch, whatever. And in some cases, you just lay there and take it, because it's like that's your body's response. You almost freeze.
Same
Okay.
with-
Like, you can't move. It's almost like a traumatic experience. And there's another psychological term. It's called disassociation.
Okay.
It's like literally when you feel like you're not part of your body. Your mind goes somewhere else.
That happened
while
to you, right?
Experience that.
With your
That happened
situation,
to me
and it happened to
too.
both of you ladies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I feel like in order to really talk about that, you have to examine, you have to go much deeper.
So
it's not just like, oh, I'm sitting here taking it. It's
So there's no accountability when it comes to victims in that in my
this is
vacuum.
what I will say. This is what I will say. And this goes back to, the norms and stuff in society. Because, like, with my parents, I haven't told my parents about, maybe they'll know now. But,
Hi, Mom.
hi, Mom.
Hey.
Yeah. So, like, when we would talk about certain things like in the news, whatever, like with kids being raped, like little girls being raped, my mom would be like, but why was she at that party? Like she could have avoided that. She could, I mean, and that's the thing. Like I get that. I really do get that. Maybe she wasn't at that place, whatever, but that does not absolve anything from the rapist. That does not, you know.
But there are certain necessary actions that can be taking place for that to happen, or we still have the mentality of victim blaming. With that saying,
okay, so let me just say something really quickly. So okay, there was once there was a rape on campus. There was a bunch of posters that went out. They urged women not to leave their dorms, not to go outside during the nighttime, right? Okay, so a feminist took it upon herself to put up posters that told men not to leave during the nighttime, and the men actually got pissed. They were like, why should I have to change what I'm doing at night? So it's like,
well, men and women.
But that's not the point. The point is, we're so quick to tell women, oh, you're responsible for this. You have to control this. You have to control that. But it's like, we're not the ones causing the problem. In most cases, yes, women do rape men, but 9 out of 10, literally 9 out of 10 women will be sexually assaulted, whereas men, the one, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I got you.
But
I think
we need to get away from victim blaming.
But I think I don't know. Maybe you understand me more. Maybe I don't know. I'm talking about from not an initial standpoint. I'm not talking about that. It makes it more
difficult for victims to come forward when we engage in victim blaming. So if, let's say, Ashley,
I'm not promoting I'm not promoting.
Of course.
Okay,
no, we know.
We're having an open dialogue.
Yeah.
So Ashley says she's afraid to tell her mother. It took me 10 years to tell my mom, so that's fine. I understand that. But okay, so you hear your mother victim blaming. So you silently decide, I can't trust her. I can't come forward because she's going to start asking me all these invasive questions.
How did you feel when that happened? Like when
with my mom?
Yes.
Right.
How did you feel?
That's a great question.
I mean, it happens like a lot of times. Like,
exactly.
It's just like because I'm already the rebellious child. We're a very Christian family. Premarital sex is a no-no.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So it doesn't make me feel good. I know she'll be there for me and understand, but I still feel like she'll be like, why was this girl drinking? Why was this girl wearing this?
So when we do victim blame, basically, it prohibits the actual victim basically to come out and be like, hey, listen, this happened to me. I need to talk to somebody. And then that is also a direct correlation to why victims, they do either commit suicide or to become drug addicts or to become, right?
Yes.
Because they could become very sexually active.
Or to become sex
very
addicts.
Conservative. Yeah, sex addicts too. So, it also, when you victim blame, the victim starts to blame themselves as well too, because I still struggle with that all the time. All the time. So back to your point about wearing some clothes, whatever. How could I say this? If you're wearing, like I said, I'm a woman, I'm thick, I have a body, whatever, I'm wearing certain clothes. I know some people will talk to me a certain way. I can't avoid that. I know some people will maybe grab me, whatever, but how do I say this? People will rape people in a car. People will rape people in a relationship, in marriage, and because you're just talking about like in a club or something, whatever. And I don't know the statistics, but like we said, a lot of times it's people you know. It could be in an intimate. It could be in your house. It could be at their house, school, campus, whatever. So it's like all these rules for every single place that we go. You feel me? Like how do we do that? It's really just a rapist. Like a rapist will rape you if he wants to rape you. Like period. So. Oh,
I just want to say this too, by the way. I don't care if I'm getting emotional or whatever. Like, you are not a friggin' man if you rape. Period. Like, I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Like, no, for real. Like, you are not a man. Like, you are the scum of the earth. And like, there are so many, like even in the Caribbean culture, like there's so many like different stances and different, mentalities basically where like, even with my family, like honestly, like I've had situations like that before where like sexual assault was pretty much advocated and, with certain things, even like my mom had a couple of instances like that, and both of you guys know my mom, and within like my family. So it's like,
it's so common.
It's like we need men that do know and do pretty much fight the good cause and fight the good fight to really teach these boys how to act upon
and speak up, just like how in racism we need white allies to speak up as well. So we can't do it. The victims can't do it themselves.
Yeah. So I think that one of the greatest things that we can do as a man is to, especially if a woman comes to us and pretty much speaks about these type of things, is to like
Listen.
fucking shut up and listen.
Like,
Like, I'm sorry for cursing.
No,
I'm sorry for
no, you're
cursing.
good. Listen
like,
and understand.
Like just
And
like
believe
listen.
Yeah.
Believe them.
I remember someone literally I was dealing with when I told him, because I mean, I'm not running around telling, oh, I got raped. But he literally told me, he's like, so Ashley, you were raped? Like,
Right.
you cried?
Right.
Which what we talked about beforehand, where there are many levels
And the
of
stigma with the big monster attacking, whatever. And the funny part is about this, when the guy told me, oh, you were raped, like, did you cry, whatever, I literally went to my girlfriend. We could talk about internalized misogyny as well. I went to my girlfriend and I was just like, can you believe what this guy said, blah, blah, blah. She's like, of course, Ashley, of course you cried.
What does that have to do with anything?
Like,
that's the thing,
I would-
that's a common misconception.
I would say this: when you spoke about your situation with me in private, one thing I can say is that you've actually did teach me that there are levels
Yes.
of rape and sexual assault.
And people
Like,
don't know that.
I just thought that, and I'm speaking to ignorance, honestly, but you know what? When you realize that you're ignorant, growth comes.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know what? Like, wow, like just being insured or having, penetration, that's not the only level
Not
of,
the only
of rape
way.
culture.
It's not always screaming. It's not crying. It's not blood. It could be so simple.
Yes.
So simple that the rapist, my accuser,
Yeah.
abuser, probably won't even know that.
Yeah.
Right? That he did that to me. And,
So-
yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
man, we definitely covered a lot of things. I don't want to go too much over time, but to wrap up everything we spoke about, what can men and women do to prevent this? What actions can we take? What events we can go to? How can we shatter this, patriarchy of a mentality that we have
I'm talking about the patriarchy. There's so much.
in a scope, like in bite size. Let's
This
just see
is
how can we move
really
forward.
random. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
Okay.
But when we talk about rape culture and like normalizing it and making it a joke kind of thing, I mean, I've said this before growing up too, but like, okay, we're watching the Heat play the Celtics or something. Oh, Dwayne Wade raped that team. Like small things like that. Like you have to think about like, why are you saying that? And the whole thing with he made that player his bitch. Like stuff like that is literally normalizing that kind of stuff. Not saying you're a rapist for saying that kind of stuff, but you're kind of desensitized to that kind of stuff. So change your language, change your thinking, and just listen.
Because the mentality of you having that basically would actually maybe even subconsciously permit you to make that act,
and not even just rape, but assault.
That can lead to rape, right?
Or be more aggressive when you're dealing with a woman or whoever you're trying.
It's
to
a snowball effect,
of course. So change your thinking, change your language.
Yeah, and before we basically have a big ass freaking snowball on the ground, we need to get to the top first before we even start that.
Right.
So, Yesenia?
I think that's a really good point, but I think that beyond that was amazing. Just believe survivors. Women or people, because men are sexually assaulted too, have nothing to gain from coming forward and saying that they have experienced sexual assault. So if someone comes to you and says, hey, this happened to me, first of all, listen, believe them, and just provide resources. You know what I mean? Be supportive, because I feel like we don't get that enough. And I feel like if you have experienced sexual assault, definitely speak about it. I continued to experience sexual assault until I got free counseling, which is an option. You should definitely follow at ERC now. Shameless plug.
I was just about to
ERC
tell you, better
now.
plug your shit, man, for real.
And we have a bunch of resources and things like that. We have events coming up.
Good. Well, I'm just gonna leave it like that. And number one, appreciate you ladies for coming. And
well, it's my podcast.
Oh no,
That's
no,
right.
okay. Well, yes, okay. So
That's
thank you.
right.
So
Thank
you know
you,
what?
Marvel. Let me say this. Thank you, Marvel, for being here, because it is not easy being with two strong, opinionated women talking over you sometimes. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate this dialogue, and I feel like this will help the conversation move forward.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Cute.
This is The Ford.